The July 24th, 2019 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vieira?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes? Here. Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mr. Dangler will be absent this evening.
Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspapers in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Now the presentation by the mayor.
So we have a special little presentation today by Chloe Lehman, who's here. She first contacted our office, I guess, a couple months ago, and she needed to do a project for her school at the Gregory School, and she said that that the project, and I think her teacher is here as well, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Rock. Nice to see you. So the project was something that she needed to be passionate about, something visual. And you were very passionate about the city and having a recreation center. So it's Mrs. Rock? Miss Rock, yeah. Miss Rock, why don't you come up and Chloe, do you want to tell the audience? So she came in and I said, well, why don't we put it on display? And as you can see, it's really impressive. And we thought it might be a good idea for her to come in and describe to us what she did.
Should we have her speak in the microphone? Speak in the microphone?
Hello, my name is Chloe Lehman, and I was given the opportunity this past 5th grade school year in Gregory School in Miss Rock's class to choose a topic that meant something to me. Immediately, I chose my community. Why, you may ask? Well, why not? I have lived in Long Branch my whole life. Well, I've always felt there was something missing in our city. Then it came to me, a community center. This would be a perfect way to make the citizens of Long Branch come together. After lots of hard work, I made a replica of what the LB Community Center could look like. The community center has everything from a pool, a library, a basketball court, a rooftop garden with breathtaking ocean views. There's even a room which can be rented out to your needs. To make the community center grow even more, I asked the citizens of Long Branch what they would like to have in the community center. There's answers from a volleyball court to a movie theater. All the ideas were great and really had me thinking what our community center could look like one day. I would like to say thank you to my teachers, Ms. Rock and Mr. McLaughlin, for their endless support, my family, and thank you, Mr. Pallone, for inviting me here to present my project. I hope my idea can grow.
Thank you, Chloe. Beautiful. Beautiful.
John, we have the
I'm
employee of the
sorry.
month.
Thank you.
It was up on the desk.
Is everybody? Oh.
Next, I'd like to call Linda Acosta to the podium, please. Hi. Congratulations. Linda Costa of the Long Branch Police Department's Records Bureau is being recognized as August Employee of the Month for her hard work and her many contributions to the betterment of the department. She began working for the department in June of 2014 and became the supervisor during the summer of 2017. From day one, she proved to be very organized, efficient, and valued employee. During the summer of 2018, she ran the records department all alone for weeks while 2 of her employees were out on maternity leave. Perhaps most important of her attributes, Linda shows up to work at least once per month with trays of her delicious homemade goodies for all PD employees to enjoy. Many do not realize the numerous day-to-day functions that the PD Records Department is responsible for, including firearms IDs, ABC licenses, taxi license, Open Public Records Act, OPRA request, handicap parking placards, Pure Village employee parking permits, background checks, and requests for accident and police reports. Many of these tasks involve assisting the customer through several steps from the initial application through the issuing of a permit, license, or report. Linda has made changes to many of these procedures and others to ensure a more seamless processing experience. In addition, she has converted the majority of these practices from paper to digital, freeing up tremendous space, saving countless trees, simplifying the search for records, and providing easier, more accessible applications that can be obtained online. On top of overseeing the regular departmental tasks, Linda reviews every report in our Spillman report writing system on a daily basis, making sure it is complete, approved, and ready to be distributed if requested. In doing so, she has realized a few tools that could be included in the system to better categorize our records and has been a key liaison in recommending upgrades to LBPD's version of the software. The department has also seen physical improvements under Linda's supervision, including a new office layout and a space-saving electronic wall-mount file cabinet, which allows for more storage and easier records retrieval. Under Linda's direction, complaints about wait times for the return of document requests have all but ceased. She is so very deserving of the Employee of the Month, and we are very grateful for her dedication and for all that she has done to increase the efficiency of the Police Records Bureau. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations to the young lady who built perhaps our dream community center. And with that, Linda, congratulations as Employee of the Month. Reading and approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of July 10th, 2010.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes. Consideration of ordinances, public hearing, and final consideration. This is the second reading of Ordinance 15-19, amending Section 325 3G, entitled Parking, Time Limited on Certain Streets, 2nd Avenue, 2 hours, between Broadway and Belmont Avenues. This ordinance was introduced on July 10th, 2019. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If there is anyone in the audience that has a comment to make regarding this ordinance, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have only 5 minutes to speak. Anyone wish to speak? Oh.
Second Avenue parking.
Pardon me?
On the Second Avenue,
Yeah.
2-hour parking from Broadway south.
Broadway and 2nd Avenue, the first block.
Ending
Broadway to
Belmont.
2nd
Second
Avenue,
Avenue
Belmont.
between Broadway and Belmont, both sides of the street.
okay, 2-hour, what, Monday to Friday?
Is it
No,
7 days
it's
a week?
2 hours all the time.
All the time.
I'm sorry, Ernest Mignoli, born in Long Branch.
2-hour parking all the time.
What? Uh, 2-hour what?
2-hour parking, 7 days a week, yes.
7 days a week. Well, Ernest Mignoli, I grew up on 2nd Avenue, and so I guess that would mean whoever lives on 2nd Avenue now is going to be impacted by...
For that short stretch, Mr. Brignoli, so on one side is the empty parking lot. On the other side, basically, is the parking lot, Whitechapel, the restaurant bar, Cortez Cigars, Montalvo's barbershop. So it was done primarily, beachgoers could go and they could stay there all day long. This was done primarily to help out those 3 businesses, which are the only ones there pretty much. I think there might be a house or 2 that extends to Belmont. That was the goal, that people would go into either the restaurant for 2 hours or to the cigar or get a haircut, that the area was getting filled up and then no one could park there. That's why it was done, at the request of the business owners. And it seemed to make sense to help them out.
to help the businesses out.
That's correct.
I think there'd be a lot of, from my experience in Long Branch, there would probably be a lot of residents on 2nd Avenue that really don't care about the businesses having parking. I mean, if you own a bar and a restaurant and you want to bring in 300-400 people, why should someone on 2nd Avenue, taxpayers, give up that so a bar and a restaurant can bring in out-of-towners and do what they want?
Again, it's a short stretch, and what everybody's finding out is that a beachgoer, if you're not a resident parking on the street, then you're an all-day beachgoer who parks there. So it was done as a convenient, like I said, to those 3 businesses there. It's a very short stretch if you take a look at it.
Mm-hmm. And then should the addition of other businesses like that, maybe some more bars and some more cigars and stuff, work their way south, we'll just kind of keep making it 2 hours, right, till we reach Brighton Avenue.
It is. All of Broadway now pretty much is 2-hour parking.
So we're talking 2nd Avenue, aren't we?
This is for 2nd Avenue,
Right.
but we're talking about Broadway now.
Well, so I'm saying you have WTC on the corner, which I've visited there. When that thing is busy, I mean, that's a lot of cars. So in other words, they have enough, I guess, clout to say, listen, we want...
I'm sorry, you think it's a good idea or you don't?
No, I think it's a bad idea.
Okay,
I think even the proliferation of those businesses there is not a good idea.
Yeah. So,
who am I to say?
So, think about it. The entire stretch of Broadway,
Yeah.
right, is a business corridor. And what happens in the summer is that beachgoers don't want to pay the meters or park, so they park all along Broadway. And so there's no parking for business owners. So if you come down on Broadway, obviously, and are looking for a space on a nice Saturday and Sunday, you're unlikely to find one.
Well, I know very well, since I, again, was born here and own a home in Asbury, and both cities are almost identically catering to bars and clubs and things, and bringing in out-of-towners and raising crime and exacerbating parking problems, and yet taxes go up, and residents are supposed to bear the brunt of that. So, I don't know. I think there's enough bars already in Long Branch, isn't there? I know, there's never enough. How about a few more daycare centers or something? They don't take as much parking. Anyway, that's my speech. I'm against it. I think 2nd Avenue should stay the way it is, and let those bars and clubs and cigar shops, if they're going to invite in 300-400 people, let them pay for parking somewhere. Let them rent that lot. Put the burden on them, not on Long Branch people. Thank you.
I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? This is the 3rd reading of ordinance 15-19, amending section 325 2G entitled Parking Time Limited
on certain streets, 2nd Avenue, 2 hours, between Broadway and Belmont Avenues. I need a motion to adopt on third and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes. Ordinance for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 16-19, entitled an ordinance vacating a portion of the right-of-way along 3rd Avenue in the vicinity of Morris Avenue. I need a motion to introduce on first reading, advertise and post according to law, and set the public hearing for August 14, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes. Public participation for resolutions and all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has any comments to make, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes, and you may only speak once.
Anita, if you don't mind, just one moment. Mr. Mignoli, I wanted to just make clear to you that the ordinance change is simply for that stretch on 2nd Avenue. In other words, the 2-hour parking has been in place on Broadway. It's just for that short stretch in front of those 3 stores. I just want to make that clear if you didn't know. Thank you. Sorry, Anita.
That's okay. Good evening, Mayor Perone and council members. My name is Anita Cravering. I live on 161 Garrett Drive in the Woodrow Wilson Commons. I would like to speak to all of you tonight on about the cracks and potholes on the road that needs to be repaired and fixed. I was coming home from a doctor's appointment. I was coming to, I think towards High Street, and I was entering the middle of the Woodrow Wilson Commons, and the person who drove me hit a crack on the road, and she nearly tipped. Is there someone I can address in the municipal building, like the road department, regarding the cracks and potholes on the road before someone gets injured or worse? I also want to remind all of you that the Monmouth County Democrats Disability Caucus will have its next meeting in the Long Branch Free Public Library on Tuesday evening, September 17th, from 6 o'clock to 7:45 p.m. We are looking for suggestions for a possible guest speaker who works with people with disabilities who are interested in public affairs. And if they find someone who represents me, wants someone for office, if that's any person with a disability, as they wish, please see me after the end of the meeting, or if any of you wish to speak to me about the issues, the aforementioned issues I addressed. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Anita, the potholes and cracks you're referring to on High Street, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we'll ask Mr. Zuba to take a look at it. Thank you.
Hello, Roxanne Revingston, 210 Hollywood Terrace. First off, I just want to say thank you that I know that you've been trying to address the issues that we all brought up about, the seasonal drivers a couple of weeks ago. Although my issue on my block has not been addressed yet, I know that you've been trying in other parts of the city. So I just have a couple of questions. To Councilman Vieira, at the June 12th council meeting, Vincent Lepore asked you if you had attended or arranged a meeting with anyone from the Sephardic Center located at 213 Lenox Avenue. At that time, you stated no, to which Mr. Lepore called you a liar. At the next council meeting, on June 26th, you amended your original answer to that question, and you stated that you, in fact, did meet and/or arranged a meeting with the Sephardic Center with Carl Turner, who I believe is the city planner. Is that correct?
This is what happened. He asked me if I arranged to meet with the Sephardics, and my answer was no, and then there's still no. I arranged for the Sephardics to meet with our planner,
Which is Carl Turner.
which was Carl Turner the team.
I believe that's just what I just said. Correct?
Well, I didn't arrange to meet with the Sephardics. That was the question. I arranged for the Sephardics to meet with our planner, Carl Turner.
Okay, so who
And
reached
I'll-
out to the Sephardic Center if it wasn't you?
Huh?
Who reached out to the Sephardic Center?
They reached out to me,
Okay, so you did arrange a meeting between Carl Turner
Carl
and the
Turner
Sephardic.
and them. Now, I didn't
Okay.
arrange to meet with them, or them meeting with me. I
No,
arranged the meeting.
I know, that's what I said, between
Yes.
Mr. Turner
And I'll do that for anybody in the community.
Okay,
that
I
comes up
just
to
have a
me.
line of questioning here.
Okay.
Okay? Just out of curiosity, what prompted you to amend your answer? Did you forget?
Well, because no, his question was totally, did I arrange to meet with the Sephardics? And the question was no. I arranged, they came up to me, they had some questions regarding the building, and I said, if I'm not the wrong person to answer those questions. So I can arrange for you to meet our planner, who's got those answers for you. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so you forgot, but then you remembered, so then you amended your answer?
No, I didn't forget. The question was, did I arrange to meet with the Sephardics? And I admit, no, I didn't.
Okay. Do you know how many meetings there were in total? Do you
The
have-
only one I met
Only
with
one
them.
That you're
There were-
aware of?
No, I got them to meet with Carl Turner. That was one meeting.
Okay, so the next question is, I guess this is just a general question to the council. Do the city planner and this council communicate with each other? Can you answer that question?
Yeah, we do.
We do, on a regular basis.
I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but we certainly
So
communicate.
okay. So with that in mind, I just have a couple more questions. Does anybody here know what the purpose of the meetings with the Sephardic Center was?
What do you mean by that?
Do you know what the purpose of the meeting was with the Sephardic Center? Are you aware? Was it to discuss expanding the center for the purpose of dormitories?
My opinion, yes.
It was, okay.
And
Now it's out in the open. It's not a secret
Well-
anymore. So, was Mr. Jackson aware of any of these meetings?
I don't think Mr. Jackson was involved yet.
Were you aware of any of those meetings, Mr. Jackson?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. I just want to say this for the record because I feel like it needs to be put on the record now because I tried to resolve this personally with you. Okay. In November of 2018, I had a meeting with the mayor and Mr. Jackson regarding some concerns myself and other neighbors had about several residential homes in the neighborhood of 213 Lenox Avenue being used as dormitories. One of the concerns of all of the neighbors were the many mattresses which were being left at the curb in the neighborhood. At that meeting, and you can confirm this, Mr. Pallone and Mr. Jackson, I also showed you both photographs and video of 3 large U-Hauls filled with mattresses parked at the Sephardic Center and subsequently being carried into residential homes in the neighborhood. One particular video showed at least 20 mattresses being loaded into a home. At that time, we were informed that the city would look into it. I received no response from the city for months, so I followed up. Subsequently, I had several telephone calls and email exchanges with Mr. Jackson, where I was once told, well, people are allowed to have tenants and rent out their houses.
That's your 5 minutes. Thank you.
Time is up.
Thank you. I just wanted to get it on the record.
So, Ms. Rivington, let me ask Lou, if you don't mind. We had many conversations about what is a dormitory. So, Mr. Reno, can you, and I had that conversation with George, with Mr. Reno, and with our new planner.
Sure.
Can you explain the situation?
No, well, the answer is, Mayor, is that houses, a single-family house is a residence, so people can live there. They don't have to.
At least 20 mattresses in a house?
Well,
I have video. Do you want to see it?
Do you want me to finish, or do you want to yell at me?
I'm not yelling. I'm just saying I have video. I've already been
the
told
answer-
this line, and it's not just tenants in a house. So go ahead.
Why don't you let me finish my sentence?
Sure.
So the question, Mayors, and the issue that we discussed with the planner is that the question always is the size of the house, the number of bedrooms, and the number of occupants that are permitted as a matter of law. So that's always the issue. So the issue isn't the number of mattresses you see one way or the other. The issue is the size of the house and the number of occupants that are allowed as a matter of law. Because
A three-bedroom home?
We can't regulate whether or not the parties are related or not. So that was the discussion that we had. I don't know anything about the specifics, and I apologize. I don't know anything about the specific of the place that you're talking about, how big it is, how many lawful occupants would be allowed. That would be an issue for our building department and for our code enforcement.
So it's now been, I didn't want to come here and
Your
say this
time
on the
is up,
record.
ma'am.
Okay, but 9 months.
Hello, I'm Michelle Ganjami. I live on Berg Avenue in Elbron. This is my third, maybe my fourth time here to discuss the no parking signs.
Could you lift the mic just a little bit? Thank you.
The no parking signs that last year had been taken down for the summer, which worked out quite well. I don't have restaurants, bars, cigars, or anything. I don't rent my house. It's not a boarding house. It's an intergenerational home that's been around since 1976. There's only 3 houses on my side of the street that are occupied. The other houses are empty. In February, I filled out a survey that was sent, I guess, to different neighbors. I filled it out, and I listed all the reasons why I felt the signs were no longer valid. And at the end said, if I need to compromise, then take them down from Memorial Day to Labor Day. I have a pool that I have invested a lot of money in, time in. I have family. I have been insulted from day one by the judges, by the traffic people that have called my home. My daughter is here, not to make her a poster child, that has cancer. I've been dealing with that. I've been dealing with my 91-year-old father who's dying of heart disease, has to walk with a cane. I never got a response. Oh, and my letter was also sent to your office, Mr. Mayor. Never heard a word from anyone. 4th of July came, I called and said, so what's going on? What's happening? Oh, gee, you didn't know? The neighbors don't want the signs down, and we did ask all of the homeowners, not the residents, we asked all of the homeowners. That's really nice when half of the block is deserted. So you can own the house as a corporation and live in bumfarts nowhere. You really care if there's a street sign? No. What kind of quality of life do I have? Does my family have? I'm a caretaker for my daughter, for my granddaughter, for my parents. When it's 95 degrees out, when I got a response at the 4th of July, I was told that my family could park on Westwood or Hoey. Westwood is across Cedar Avenue. Do I tell my father, yeah, Dad, you hobble on a cane? Or wait, somebody will pay for your Uber to drive you. This is absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. I have talked to the other 2 people on my side of the street. They have no problem whatsoever. I've been told to put more gravel in my driveway. I've been told to go to the boarding or the zoning, whatever it is, and ask them to widen my driveway. Who's paying for all this? But that's beside the point. Why do I have to give up my lawn? Because neighbors across the street, I assume, have an issue. I've been told to get rid of my cars. Am I going to be told to get rid of my kids? It's out of control, totally out of control. So I would like, as a compromise, which I don't think taking the signs down for the summer is such a big thing to ask, take it down on my side of the street. Give us resident parking on my side of the street. If the people across the street want the signs up, even though they use vacant homes, driveways, even though they park on the lawn, I really don't give two gar. I don't care. They can do what they want to do, but don't interfere in my life. I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm paying my bills. I'm following the rules. I don't think I'm asking a whole lot. So, I know that you can change things, and that's what I'm asking for.
So, a couple things. I know that you and I have talked a couple of times. I know that you've come up to City Hall. I don't know who you spoke to when you say in early July. You and I didn't talk, or I didn't receive anything.
No, I called your office, and I was told to speak to traffic safety, or whoever it is that was supposed to...
But it wasn't my office.
No, I was referred elsewhere.
Okay. All right.
And
Well, you know, I mean, I'm sure I gave you my cell phone number, and if I didn't, you know how to reach me. I just want to be clear that I know you and I have spoken a couple of times, and if you had called me in July, I would definitely have gotten back to you. But, so that's why I'm, you know, and that's fine, whoever you spoke to. I just want to make sure that it wasn't me, because if there was some miscommunication, you know, I need to know that. But, you know, we always try to be fair, and we always try to be responsive. If you could stay after the meeting, I could get the details again of what you were talking about. But as you know, that study was pretty exhaustive, and we were open to the idea, and still are, to some sort of residential parking, permit parking, to make it work for everyone. When we did the surveys there, and again, I asked, did we talk, you know, a lot of them are, you know, are you going to get the actual landlord when you speak with them? Are you speaking with some tenants and so forth? They did, from my understanding, a pretty exhaustive study. Captain, I don't know, maybe were you a part of that at all? Okay. So the council was made aware of all the charts and so forth, and where it was like a 50-50 split, you know, we couldn't make a decision. We didn't think that it was fair one way or the other to permit permit parking or whatever, whichever way they wanted to go. So again, I'd be, I don't remember the details, because I think we did a study of maybe 15 streets, 20 streets.
Possibly.
So let's talk afterwards. But again, if your street was kind of this way, 50-50, what do we do?
How about giving us the parking space, right, give us the parking sticker
So
for
then
my,
let's,
for the three houses on my block.
again, like I said, we want to be fair, we want to be responsive, and we want to be helpful. So if it can work out, let's talk again. Again, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't remember the details that we had our conversation several months ago. But stay after and we'll talk if you don't mind.
And with all respect, I have no problem doing that, but is it going to get me somewhere, or am I just being yes?
I'm being honest. We try to do what we can, and we can relook at your street and what the results of the study were, and we could look at it. I can talk to Lieutenant Shirley, who was in charge of it. You know, if you'd like to, I'd certainly be willing to do that. We could even sit down with him.
Mr. Mayor?
But thank you. Yes.
Just to speak on it, how long have you lived there?
My family's been in the house since 1976.
Were you part of the group that petitioned the city when there was no restrictions on parking?
Absolutely not.
Do you remember that time?
It was the college kids.
Right. So when there was unrestricted parking on...
There are no college kids anymore, and have not been for years.
What the residents did, and they customized the parking and restricted it. They didn't permit it, but they restricted it, which made residents happy at that time. And now that's clearly changed. So I just wanted to add a little clarification. There was a time when you could park on Burke, right? And Kirby, I think, had the same problem. So the residents petitioned the town council, and the town council acquiesced to the request, resulting in the current restrictions. So there was a time when there was no restrictions, and that's one of the dangers of customizing parking. Eventually, the reasons change, and maybe the kids went away, or maybe mom has more parking now.
Yes.
Maybe it's not a problem. So just a little clarification.
So thank you, Captain. So let's talk. I mean, I think it's worthwhile to just at least go over the discussion. Yeah, I can't promise that anything's going to be changed. I don't know, but certainly we're open to talk about it. Thank you.
Good evening, Avery Grant, 405 Atlantic Avenue. And I was very proud of the young lady who spoke about the community center, and I'd urge you to see what you can do about that, because we do need a community center. The schools, we open the schools for various activities, and we even have a special program called 21st Century, which has a recreation program after the schools. And then during the summer, we have this extended learning process where they not only learn, but they get a chance to eat. So I would urge you to do that. And I've urged you before to look for plans and grants. As I told you before, I built a when I was a city engineer at East Orange, I built a recreation center and 3 swimming pools. And we need a swimming pool there. And it was all built with federal money. But you have to be ready when there's money around, and you have to be planners and ready to go forward with a proposal, and you can be successful. But I would again ask that you consider that. And when Mayor Hune was the mayor, Jesse Samuel, Lester Chapman, ourselves approached them because they were getting ready to knock down the old Bucket James Center. It was an old wooden building. And we said, give us the material and we'll renovate it. And we did renovate it, and it stayed open. We had all kinds of activities for young people. So I would urge you to do that. It's very important to do that. The last thing I'd like to, I don't see Chief Roebuck here, but I'd like to thank him for the courtesy he paid for my wife's services. I had asked him to try to get us out of the parking lot because we had over 400 people in the church. And what he did was that he not only got us out of the parking lot, but he gave us escort all the way down to Woodbine Cemetery, and West Long Branch police were there too, and they stopped traffic on 36. You might have thought the president was there. And so I wanted to thank him publicly for supporting that. I think we need to, from time to time, hear the good things you're doing. So thank you again for that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The main thing that I've tried to bring to this, to the council meetings, is the idea of equitable development and inclusion. The city is growing, it's developing, and in some minds there is this sense of the, 2 cities that are developing, the rich and then the rest of us. And so some of the things that are bubbling up, I think, in the course of the conversations that happen here are what is happening to the most vulnerable of our population, and is the city really being as communicative about that as it needs to be. So one is this idea of a community center, which I brought up last week, and I told, not last week, but the last meeting, and I mentioned what Woodbridge had done to create this incredible community center that services families and children, even has opportunities for the disabled to participate in what they do, and it's a model that we can look at. So I would like to ask you guys to put that on your plate and talk to us about it. The second thing is, I also have mentioned previously that the poverty rate in Long Branch is fairly high. It's higher than even the state average. It's more than 13%. And so, and I have posited that I think much of that poverty is falling in populations of people aged 19 to 40, because the seniors are not necessarily the largest segment of the poverty population, but those are probably the population that also is not working, that may not have workforce opportunities. And so I wanted to know what we were going to do about that. And then thirdly, and I'll sit down and let you guys speak about it, is are we tracking or do we have a registry of owners of houses that don't live here in the city, so that we can make sure that we're tracking their compliance with our housing policies and practices? Thank you.
So let me address a little bit of what you're talking about, Ms. Brown. What you bring up, what Mr. Grant brings up, we talk about a community center, we talk about a swimming pool. This is something we have been actively pursuing. we don't talk about it much because the reality is I'm of the belief, we shouldn't talk about things until there's some that it might happen or, I'll tell you this, that we've had several conversations with the Board of Education, one just last week, with the Housing Authority, and all these issues are constantly being addressed. How can we get a community center, swimming pool, more affordable housing? It's something that's very important to us, and it's something that we are working on. We're not talking about it. It's very expensive. It's very complicated, how we can do it. I don't know if that will happen, but I can tell you that we are doing it. The other thing that we did just a few weeks ago is that we introduced a new ordinance so that any new developer, any new development needs to pay, if they don't have affordable housing units as part of the development project, either on-site or off-site, that they have to contribute a fee of 1.5% of the total cost of the project for residential, or is it 2.5% for commercial? So if you think about the size of some of these projects, that's pretty significant dollars that we can then use for affordable housing. So that's something that is now in place for any developer who comes into town that didn't exist before, and that could be some significant money. So again, like I said, we are aware of what you and others are saying. It's important to every single one of us, and almost everyone has been involved in some of these conversations with some of these groups, and we're working on it. But like I said, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, but we're trying our hardest to do what we can. Come up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Robert Girardi, 309 Highland Avenue, Long Branch. I just have one request, one inquiry. The basketball court at Van Court, we paved it and resealed it. Thank you. But there's a tree there. I think the northwest corner, branches are overhanging, inhibits full use of the court. If you can get some trimming done there, that's all.
Stan, can you take a look? Mr. Zuba's our director of DPW.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's all. And then one inquiry. About a year ago, ordered stuff online, UPS, got the email, it was delivered. It wasn't delivered. So I made the call to the office, police, and the officer came and said, they actually do that, but it takes, they actually deliver it later. I went through the problems of, didn't see the package there. So I had to go through, make the calls, insurance, all that stuff. And sure enough, it came like 2 days later. And so I had to go through all this little trouble to get through that. I was wondering and the officer said this happens quite often. I was wondering if that's still going on, and I'll make arrangements to change that, but.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do. It's not something that's under our jurisdiction. You're talking about when UPS.
Yeah, just.
Something?
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with it. It's not something that we do.
All right. Thank you.
We'll look into the tree.
What's that?
We'll look into the tree.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Request 1 minute notification. Following the questions of the second speaker, Mr. Vieira, you stated that you brought the members of the Sephardic up here to meet with the planner. Could you tell us why they reached out to you?
Here it is. I'm going to explain it once, and I already told you. We were in some event. I don't recognize. I know it was an event that we were together. I think it was over at the Pier Village. No, just something like, I don't think it was a lighting of the ornament or the Christmas tree over there. We were all there. And they asked me some questions about their place. And I told them I was the wrong person to answer those questions. The right person would be Carl Turner, our planner at the time. And I said, what I can do for you is I can call Mr. Turner up and have you meet with Mr. Turner. And that's what happened.
Okay. Could you please tell us when they came here with the planner, were you present at the meeting?
Yes, I was.
Was anybody else present at that meeting?
It was two members of them, and I didn't even stay in the same room. I was on the other side, behind them, and they talked to discuss whatever they had to discuss with Mr. Turner.
Was Mayor Pallone present at that meeting?
Negative.
So the only public officials present were you and Carl Turner?
Yes.
Okay. Did any conversation of that meeting take place with Mayor Pallone?
No.
So to this day, that meeting was never exposed to Mr. Pallone in City Hall.
I'm trying to think, see if we ever had the conversation with Mr. Pallone, but I don't recommend that, no. I don't remember.
All right, Mr. Vieira.
By the way, Mr. Lepore, I know you don't like to hear from me, but if you want to question me on any of this, please feel free to do. I'll answer anything you want.
And keep your comments to yourself till after my 5 minutes.
What did you say?
Keep your comments to yourself.
Okay, sure. That's fine. Just offering.
Mr. Vieira, are you aware, with the new planner, following the remarks of the second speaker this evening, of any ongoing conversations with members of the Sephardic Torah for construction?
Listen, I'm going to tell you once, and that's it.
Well, you don't give me an
I told you
ultimatum. You're the liar.
I'm the liar. I'm not lying.
Well, you lied. You got
Listen,
caught.
No, you asked me if I arranged to meet with them. No, I arranged them for them to meet with Carl Turner. So if you're not happy, that's your problem.
No, Mr. Vieira, you're a liar. I stated it
Call
that
me what
night,
you want.
and I
Listen,
state it
come
right now.
I come from a large family.
You
I never got
got
treated
caught.
like you treat these people up here, us.
You got caught. I want the answer to my question, yes or no.
I don't have to
Have there
answer your
been
question.
ongoing meetings with the Sephardic Torah and the city that you are aware of?
Listen,
No, all I want is yes or no.
Listen.
Yes or no?
From now on, I'm going to tell you how it is.
No more. I don't want to know how it is. I just want yes or no.
No, you're not getting any answers from me.
All right.
Then that's it.
Then you're not being
Don't waste your breath-
forthright.
Don't waste your breath asking questions.
You're a public official. You're accountable to the public, and your concealing of information lends you to be a liar again.
No, forget it.
That's what it does. Resolution 17019 this evening. The matter concerning a non-condemnation development area, AKA known as another redevelopment zone. In the title, it says non-condemnation redevelopment, but in the body of the resolution, condemnation redevelopment area or non-condemnation redevelopment area. For the folks out there, this concerns
Or you have 1 minute.
the Seaview Towers, the two buildings that have been vacant for quite some time. Keep in mind, with the redevelopment zone, there is the consideration of tax abatements. With 1 minute left, I would like to state at the last planning board meeting, after the meeting, an occurrence occurred in this building of a religious worship, not a reflective moment of full-fledged religious worship. I put an Oprah in for the video of that religious worship, and I would request the West End Long Branch NJ watchdogs to take this flash drive and post it this evening, and let the people determine watching this if this is appropriate behavior to take place in a public building, a building of the people of Long Branch. And the question being, where does this religious order take it upon itself to think that they can do such a ceremony in a public building?
Time is up, Mr. Lepore.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wish to speak? Come on.
Hi, my name is Scotty Ermy, and I live at 322 Cleveland Avenue. I think I kind of have a simple problem to be resolved, but for several years, my property backs up.
Dottie, I'm sorry, could you bring the mic just a little
Sure.
closer to you?
Sorry. My property backs up to the Shore Garden Apartments on Bath Avenue. The parking lot for their apartments is adjacent to my backyard. And the parking lights there have, over time, I suppose, have become misdirected. These giant floodlights for the parking would normally be faced down on the parking lot, and now they're faced this way, like the poles and the lights have shifted. And I've tried several times to be neighborly and try to get the apartment management to correct it, because it comes directly into my children's bedroom windows and into my backyard. So it's like you can't be in the backyard or even like, it's these really bright floodlights. It really just simply needs to be corrected and redirected, and I can't seem to get anywhere. I did last summer try to get somewhere with the building and code enforcement, and I was told that because the property was built before that code, they couldn't do anything. And I'm not sure where to go from here, but it seems like a problem that could be solved pretty easily.
You know what? If you're okay with it, give me your name, the address. If you have the management company, I don't mind calling. I've made a few calls like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'd be happy to call on your behalf.
Oh, I would so appreciate that. Thank you.
Just make sure I get the information.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hello, Patty Veracki, 246 Jerome Avenue, Oakhurst. And I actually just have a very short, I guess, an issue that I wanted to bring up. I've brought it up in the past about the community centers, needing a rec center, and others tonight spoke very well about that need. And in particular, the young lady with the little presentation here. And it just kind of made me think how it doesn't have to even be something big. With that heat wave that we had over the weekend, I thought of people who did not have a cooling center. And St. James was nice enough to open up their doors, and I thought that was wonderful. And again, it's not a very big space. I know that you were kind enough in the winter to open up the community gardens building. Again, a very tiny little space for a warming center. So maybe if there's not in the works for something big at this time, maybe just some abandoned properties that Public Works could fix up and make some community centers that could be rented space for people that need to have large parties, make a little income for the city, and offer some heating or cooling centers for people. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi, Ernest McNully, born and raised in Long Branch, live in Asbury Park now.
Mr. McNully, can you raise the mic a little?
I will.
Thank you.
I just,
Would you please raise the mic a little bit?
I will.
Thank you.
How's that? Better? Okay. It seems like some people repeat their concerns for cities that we live in, that we love, etc. I just would like to say that don't think because, at least for myself, when you hear me talk or let's say harp on certain repetitive issues, that's all that we're interested in. For example, I'm very interested in parking. I'd like to see Long Branch not fall victim to what Asbury Park has fallen victim to. And again, it always starts out with accommodating or a bar or a club, and next thing you know, they go from 100 patrons to 500 patrons, and then you open up 20 bars, and that's why I was a little concerned about Second Avenue, because growing up on Second, I think that was I forget what that was, an old warehouse. I don't know what it was, but who would have thought they'd make it into a bar? So now it's a bar, and I decided, let me go there a few times just to see what it's like, and it's a very successful bar, which means now you're going to have another successful bar in Long Branch to add to Jack's and Brighton and Cottage and Mix and Nip and Tuck. So the idea is, why is it always synonymous with growth and development to grow bars and clubs? I never really understood that. And it's one of the downfalls of Long Branch over the decades, where they cater to these clubs and bars. And what they bring in is outside people that want to see if, hey, how are the police in this city? If we get drunk and drive, do they stop us? Or are they pretty cool about it? And I have to tell you, Long Branch and Asbury get a reputation that you come, you smoke weed wherever you want, cigars in restaurants, anything you want to do, you can do here. And I guess it makes the business owners wealthy. You have some Long Branch owners now of bars and clubs spreading into Asbury, some Asbury people spreading into Long Branch, because, look, it's time forever. Alcohol, smoke, whatever, weed, drugs, sex, and rock and roll seems to be an attraction. I mean, I'm not attracted to it, but a lot of people are. And I don't see why a city should cater to that. In other words, everybody makes fun of Ocean Grove. They say, oh, it's a dry town, and it's this and that. I like it. Nobody curses, nobody spits, nobody, little kids can walk around. And I take exception to the comment that I've heard here a few times where, our children walk to school. Long Branch and Asbury are not, I know you don't like when I group them together, but no one's ever going to separate Long Branch and Asbury, ever. It's not safe for little kids or anybody. It's a problem. And, then to take the shadow of something like Pier Village, and as I was coming here tonight from Asbury, I rode all the way from Brighton and Ocean along the boulevard, and I said, what's missing since I'm growing up here as a kid? You can't see the ocean. It's like nothing but people's living rooms, 1,000 feet in the air. They're going to like that? Are we going to like it? I don't know. But, that's what's been done. To me, Asbury and Long Branch have been destroyed by developers to the point where there's 30,000 people here, there's 15,000 residents in Asbury. We don't get anything. It all goes to the 3-month, multi-million-dollar people. Now, and again, I hope you don't mind I keep talking about Asbury, but we just opened up a $1,100 a room night hotel with $6 million condos, and the minute they opened on the 4th, there was a shooting on the boardwalk. That's what they got to see. Now, today and last night, a cop shooting, someone's dead. This morning, someone else shot dead. East Side, and they keep saying, well, no, it's the West Side, it's this. No, it isn't. You see, drugs and money pervade, I don't know, is the word rich? What is that, 1 minute?
No, your time is up. Thank you.
My time's up? Oh, no. Does anyone have any time I could buy or borrow? I can have what? No, I don't think you let us do that, do you? Can you?
What's that, 5 minutes, Kathy?
Yeah.
Mayor, can you buy time here? I'll pay for it.
Your time is up, sir.
I don't often have my voice, but I really feel like I have it tonight. She might give me 2 minutes. What?
Your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
I need a motion to close the public portion of this meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We can take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Man,
Mr. Vieira?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Sally?
Yes. There are no applications this evening. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Vieira, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight, and I'd like to congratulate Linda for Employee of the Month, and I'd like to congratulate that young lady that was here with that beautiful picture and beautiful community place, Chloe. She did an outstanding job, and it's something that we're going to try to work on, and we all feel the same way, and it's something I'll feel strong for at our community center. And that's about it, and thanks for coming.
Councilwoman Vogt.
Yeah, I think there are two common themes tonight. Let me just go back to our previous meeting. The common theme was traffic, and there was someone who recognized the efforts that we've made from last week, from the last meeting to this meeting. There are some details that we could share with you, but that certainly, we listened to everything that you said and tried to take some action on that. Tonight, certainly most outstanding. Gosh, when you see our youth doing a presentation like that, so articulate, so poised, so thoughtful, so caring about Long Branch, and so on target, because that obviously was the second theme of the evening. The community center gives us just tremendous hope for the future of Long Branch and for the future of our youth. And just like the mayor said and Councilman Vieira said, it's coincidental that so many of your comments are things that we talk about. But as the mayor said, you have to wait to a certain point to be able to talk about them, or else expectations and thoughts just run all over. But we are in sync with you on so many of the comments that you make, which is very reassuring. So again, just wonderful to see our youth in action. And thank you so much for coming.
Councilwoman Witters.
I just wanted to thank everyone who came out this evening and took their time and to express their concerns. And, we certainly will look at them. And hope everyone's enjoying their summer, and hope everyone has their electricity restored from the storm that we endured this week. And have a good evening. Thank you.
Mayor Plone.
Yes. I just had a couple of community updates, but I did want to thank everyone at City Hall, the DPW, police, fire, and our Office of Emergency Management, who responded quickly and professionally to this week's storm. Thank you for keeping everyone in our city safe. I've been in contact with JCP&L, and all power should be restored to Long Branch by Friday or sooner. Just so you know, I guess it was yesterday morning, we've had a code red and a couple of Facebook updates. So yesterday we had about 2,000 people who were out of power yesterday morning. By the end of yesterday, it was in the 900 range. And then I think we put a Facebook post. There's still, as of, around 1 o'clock or so, about 200 people who are still out. I don't know if that's changed since. But anyway, thank you. So everything should be restored by tomorrow or sooner. Also, I just want to remind everybody the Shop Long Branch kickoff event is next Tuesday, July 30th at 10 o'clock. We now have 22 businesses signed up, which actually is quite good for the start of this. We'll have a ribbon cutting, and residents can come and find out more about the Shop Long Branch program on, like I said, Tuesday at 10 o'clock right here. And if you're a business that is still interested in participating, please contact the mayor's office or community development. Our next fun day is this Friday, the 26th, at the Atlantic Avenue Park. That's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the third of the fourth we're having this summer. Please join us for some free family fun, including a slip and slide, rock wall, DJ, and more. Wanted to let everybody know about the West End Cruise Night and Classic Car Show is Saturday, August 17th from 6 to 10 at Brighton Avenue. Join us there for a fun night as well, with entertainment by the Coasters and Shirley Alston Reeves. And finally, the Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Festival is scheduled for August 24th from 1 to 9. Check our social media or email blast for the full list of events that day, and the night will conclude with fireworks at night. So that's always a good, fun all-day time. I'd just like to thank everybody for their comments this evening, and have a great week.
Thank you. I would like to say to the young lady who built that wonderful dream that we'll have, we have been talking about the community center, as I think we all have mentioned. It'll come. It just takes money and time and a lot of effort. And again, to the young lady who was the employee of the month, Linda Costa, thank you for a great job. And to all the other employees that are here, you're not being slighted. We just haven't gotten around to you. So thank you. Thank you all for coming. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. Real merry today.
Right. And between you and the ocean.